Welcome to Yeukai Business Show, UK's premier business show where we feature business thought leaders, high achievers, and industry experts. Today's episode is brought to you by World Outsourcing Solutions Limited, a company that specializes in helping executive business owners with virtual assistant services and business growth systems. Here's your host, Yeukai Ketchidori.
Hey guys, welcome back to another very special episode. And today I'm super excited because this is actually my very first podcast since my holiday in Athens. You guys have to visit Athens. Look, I'm starting with promoting in another country right now. But I had such a wonderful time in Athens and I'm back to work right now. And I can't wait to share what I discovered there. But today I have a very special guest who's going to be talking to you. And this special Bill. You know, Bill, you have sent in this question about how you can progress your business from where it is to where you want it to be. And my next guest is Sara Sabin. Sara is from London, but currently is in Spain. Sara is an amazing entrepreneur, has done a lot for entrepreneurs today. She is a qualified accountant, a former startup founder of 2 startups, one successful, the other one is not there yet. In fact, we all share this because you don't get to success without going through the not so successful ventures. And Sara is a transformational coach, having been through many transformations herself over the years. It wasn't until most recent transformation that she really cracked the code. And today, Sara is going to be sharing with you how to do that. And most importantly, one thing that I'm very proud of about Sara is she is an international Amazon bestseller for the book called Cracking the Rich Code. So if you want that, you may just visit that Amazon to find that book for you. Sara, thank you again for joining us here on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me, Yeukai. I'm really, really pleased to be here. And I hope I'm a pleasant reintroduction to non-holiday.
It's great. I love the work that you do already, and particularly, your approach to helping successful business owners take their business to another level by working from inside out. Sara, for those who are yet to work with you or come across your work, give us a snap introduction of who you are and how you spend your time recently.
Okay, so who I am, I'm going to cover in a nutshell and then come on to the recent parts. So I come from a corporate background originally, so tax accountancy, specifically working with high net worth individuals. I've been a full-time entrepreneur since the beginning of 2016. I've founded 2 startups, and it was after a break after the second startup that I came across transformational coaching for myself. And it was so life-changing, and I had so many realizations about how it helps you to be a more successful entrepreneur, that I knew that was the work that I wanted to do with other entrepreneurs. So I combined all of my skills and passions together, the coaching aspect and the kind of consulting and strategy aspect, and I created an inside-out framework.
Amazing. I love that. One of the reasons, perhaps I should come clean with everyone listening, is as a successful business owner, the things that takes you to reach your success, to reach a certain success, may not necessarily be what will take you to another level of success. You have to have a mind shift, belief change. Sara, we talked about it briefly. Perhaps you could just go straight into it. What differentiate a certain level of success to another, the one that we're going to be talking about, where you will reach £1 million? What differentiate the 2 levels?
So I'm interested in the difference between mediocre success and exponential and very fast success. Now, the key differences are, number 1, resilience, and number 2, inner work. So mindset shifts, belief system shifts, changing the way that you operate and think, so that you are actually crafting an identity of where you want to be and acting in that way right now. And that's very counterintuitive. So when a client comes to me, they are usually at the $1 million to $3 million mark, and they say to me, Sara, I want a 10x. And they usually say to me in 5 to 10 years, and I say, right, let's make it 5. So I want to like really, really push them. And you can get to that level in your business with a lot of hard work, with some strategy, with a decent team, and with some luck. But to get to the next level, you need to change the way that you approach things.
Right.
You need to change the way that you interact with your team. And that actually is quite a key thing. So when I'm talking about entrepreneurs at that kind of stage, they are the leaders. They are the people that are driving everything. And it needs to become more of a shared team effort. So that's where the elements of what are your team doing? How are your team thinking? How can you coach your team to be higher performing and better at what they do, so that you can put yourself in the position where you can scale quicker. But it's not enough to just go straight to the strategy. So you can go to the strategy of, okay, well, I'm at $1 million, I want to be at $10 million. Let's just get someone to sort of get straight to the strategy. But I want to create holistic success. So what does your life and business look like for you? Because my clients get those tangible results. So when they work with me, they are growing revenue, they are growing their team, they are getting higher margin clients, but it's the intangible as well. Are they doing the right things at the right time? Are they happier and more joyful at work? Are they doing what they're really good at doing rather than trying to do everything and control everything?
Right.
So all of these things are really important to get to that next level.
Absolutely, absolutely. I remember when I was at that place where I was driving everything, and that's when you will be working 14 hours, 13 to 14 hours a day, because you are wearing so many hats. As one of my friends say, CEO, chief of everything. Not being able to delegate and empowering people to take the decisions and move the project or the campaign forward. And I love that you've put it there. Now, for those who are listening, if you're tuning in for the first time, we've got some amazing information sharing. If you stay right till the end, we would love to give you a gift. Sarah, talk to us about the Inside Out framework, maybe slowly, to help Bill, who is looking to grow his business exponentially. What will be the very first step before they get there?
Okay, so I'm going to talk you through the steps in the framework with the caveat that different people with different companies tend to need to focus on one or two areas more than others.
Right.
So it kind of depends where someone's at, but these are the steps that everyone should be following. Number 1, vision and purpose. Now, why this tends to be so important for a lot of entrepreneurs is they've got to $1 million without having a particularly strong vision. They're like, right, I'm good at doing X. I have a business background, or I come from this particular industry. Let's just start a business and we'll grow it and we'll work in the business.
Right.
So that gets them to a certain point. But to get beyond that, and there's a lot of data to support that having a really strong vision and purpose is key to being able to achieve great things. Yeah. So you'll see that any big company has a company vision, a company mission statement, values, etc. Yeah. And you may think, okay, well, that's the reserve of big companies, but that's there for a reason. And the reason is, number 1, to constantly remind you of what you're working towards. So it becomes an acid test to assess the decisions that you're making in your business and whether those get you closer to the vision or further away from it. So it's more of that long-term thinking rather than short-term. Yeah. It creates a shared team philosophy as well for your team, because your team is suddenly like, oh, great, I understand what we're all doing here and what we're working towards. Yeah. You'd be surprised how many companies you ask some of the employees, what's the vision? They're like, I'm not really sure. I think it might be this, but who knows? And then lastly, it becomes a foundation for you to really hone in on your marketing and sales messages.
Indeed.
Because you know exactly what you're trying to say, what you're trying to convey, who you're trying to help, etc. So that's part one. And that's kind of the foundation upon which everything is built.
I love that.
Then,
If I could just add a few things there, Sarah,
sure.
is, if you are listening and you think, okay, I don't have all that which Sarah is talking about, I know it's important, but I don't know where to start. It's okay. We all start from somewhere. I remember when I got started, I had the drive to just make money so I can provide for my family. Sitting down, creating a vision wasn't sort of on the radar. It wasn't one of those top three priority things I needed to do. But as time goes on, you begin to strategize where you want this whole project to be in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, 20 years' time, when you will no longer be the person driving it. And this is when it becomes very, very important. How do you create a clear vision? Maybe the very first, Sarah, if you are helping Bill here.
Just to say, absolutely, Yeukai, 100% agree with what you've just said. Before I get to that, it's one of those things that are important but long term, so people tend to defer because it's not urgent. So in terms of crafting a vision, firstly, I want to understand holistically, you as an entrepreneur and leader, what are you trying to achieve in totality in your life? So what is your purpose for being here? What is your company's purpose for being here? Why are you doing all of this? What are your primary motivators? And the point that we want to get to through this fact-finding process, this inner digging process, is to get to a point where we can clearly articulate, this is my long-term vision in a few sentences. Now, we all know that stuff happens, right? So the best laid plans often don't come to fruition because life gets in the way, like a pandemic. But that vision is basically something you work backwards from, right? So you've got this vision and you might need to change the steps to get there because stuff happens. You need to pivot, you need to adapt, but you don't end up changing the end vision. So it's not a plan, it's something to work backwards from. And that is very different from how most people think, because they tend to look at where they are and plan forward incrementally. So that's why a vision is really important. And how you get there, you have the vision set out, and then you also have a mission statement where you very clearly say, we help whoever your target audience is to do whatever so that they can. So that everyone, is on the same page about what you do and who you do it for and why you do it. And when you are clear on that, it becomes so much easier to create strategies, so much easier to make decisions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I remember, Sarah, when I got started, I found it difficult to create a vision. So one of the things I did was to engage a coach. And we had two 1-hour sessions together, and that helped me clarify what I really want to do. So I want to, if you are listening, Bill, and anyone else is listening, and you're having difficulties, consider engaging somebody who can ask you these questions, like Sarah, and say, look, this is what I'm about. This is what I want to achieve. Help me do this. And you create that vision and you write it and put it on the wall somewhere where you can see it, because, one ancient book says, write the vision on so that whoever reads it may run with it, so that it becomes so clear what you want to do. Because I don't know about you, Sarah, but 97% of our failure comes from not being clear on what is it that you're trying to achieve, because you end up moving from one thing to another. But if you're clear and you are persuaded that this is your life work, this is your purpose, you are going to move mountains to get to where you want to be. So coming back to you here, let's talk about the next step after working out, your vision. What would be the next thing that successful entrepreneurs already needs to do in order to move on to the next stage of their success?
So the second and third steps might reverse order, but I'm going to go through strategy first. So second, strategy. You've got a vision, right? Let's work backwards and create the strategy that will allow you to get there. So what that means is, because your vision will be really challenging, I work with that type of client that wants to achieve big things. So it needs to be broken down into what I call hills. So the big hills you need to climb, maybe there's between 5 to 10 of those hills to get you closer to the vision, and then broken down into smaller steps within that. So mapping that all out and then understanding what's important in the short, medium, and long term, right? So we need to understand what is important to focus on at the right time.
Right.
So we work that out as well, and then we also understand who is integral in making this vision happen and how to actively get them involved and co-create with them.
Sarah, you touched on something very important. I want Bill to take note of this, because looking at my own life, I see this to be true. You mentioned something that knowing what to do at one time, and that is incredible, because as you grow your business, you will find that there's so many things that needs to be done. So many things are important, but not all of them have to be done at the same time. You prioritize. For example, I'll give you an example, is when you're launching your business, the very first part may be about really adding value to your community, to the people you want to attract, because you get paid in direct proportion to the value of goodwill you provide in the marketplace. So if you don't have so much goodwill and you're not focusing in those early stage of developing your product or reaching out a new community, they're not going to know you, like you, and trust you to a point of giving you money. So your very first stage, really and truly, is to create enormous amount of goodwill in the marketplace. And when you have that in your plan, in your strategy, you will know that this first 3 months, 6 months, or even a year is about value adding. And then you move on to the next stage, and on to the next stage. It's a process. And I love that you mentioned it, because it seems to be working for us here as well. Sarah, over to you.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I think, for the clients that I work with, most of them have built up that value and that goodwill already.
Awesome.
So it's understanding more about how to capitalize on it. One of my major messages that I try to get across is that purpose is not mutually exclusive from profit. The two are intricately connected. And actually, we need more businesses in the world that genuinely care about making an impact, and we need those businesses to make money so that they can continue reaching more and more people.
Absolutely.
But yes, value absolutely is a part of that. And I think as well, understanding that you're at a stage in your business where you need to be thinking about the important stuff. So the stuff that is not urgent, the stuff that is not you putting out fires every minute, the stuff that is going to get you closer to your vision. So short term is important, but also thinking about long-term strategies as well within that, and how that plays into the short term is important. Productivity is important. Entrepreneurs have a reputation for working crazy hours. All of my clients are super busy. I am certainly an action woman myself, but you need to understand that it's not just about being busy and doing stuff to prove your worth. It's about being productive and doing the right things at the right time. To reiterate that point again, you're not going to get an award for working 15 hours a day if you could achieve the same results in less time. And I think if you're familiar with the Pareto principle, 80% of our results come from 20% of our efforts. But most people don't understand what that 20% is. So you have this kind of whirlwind cycle.
Yeah.
So also that personal element forms part of strategy.
Yes, indeed. Or somebody once asked me about, how do you identify the 20% if, that is making the whole thing works? What would you say to that? How do you go about identifying which of the, 20% is behind the success of what you're doing? Would you be able to answer that one, Sarah?
Well, it looks slightly different for every person, and depending on what the stage of the business is. But talking it very crudely and practically, you write down a list of all the things that you do. Then you work out which of those activities are getting you closer to your vision. So if something falls outside of that 20% and you're doing it just because you've always done it or whatever, and you don't particularly enjoy it, you shouldn't be doing it.
That's right.
Quite simply.
Yeah, one has to be ruthless with your time, if you, especially in those early days, you need to keep a log as to how are you spending your time and what is the results are you getting? Is they correlating? If it's not, then something has to be changed. That's what you just said there, Sarah. And in business, we have to do that because these things that you may be doing may be just draining you, leaving you so much frustrated, and you're not even enjoying what you're creating. And we don't want that. We want you to succeed. We've touched on a vision and strategy. Is there anything else, perhaps, Sarah, you feel a business owner needs to know?
Yes, mindset.
Mindset.
Absolutely key. So I need to understand what your operating system is. What way do you think? What beliefs do you hold? And the reason I need to know that is because it influences your thoughts, actions, and behaviors. And how you act and behave has a direct impact on the results that you get. So this can look kind of maybe two ways. So either you don't quite have an optimal mindset, but you're still achieving great results in your business, but you're miserable or you're stressed or you're anxious all the time. And obviously all of us get down days, right? So all of us feel a bit down from time to time. All of us feel anxious. If that is your day-to-day way of being, then something is wrong. That's not normal. So that's one kind of manifestation. The other manifestation is your mindset is not supporting your business growth. And I can tell you this from both a personal perspective of me and my business journey and from clients. My biggest breakthroughs and my clients' biggest breakthroughs. So to put this into context, in my coaching business, I hit a six-figure business in year 2 of my coaching business. Now, what do I attribute that to? I attribute it to consistently working on my mindset, consistently thinking of where I want to be, consistently working through my limiting beliefs and changing them, changing the way that I see the world. And it also, unfortunately, leads to digging up deeply buried emotions or traumas sometimes, so that you can remove them and get past them and allow you to get to the next level. So for different people, I work with them on mindset to different extents. Some people are much more practical. Some people need and want a lot of that mindset support. And then the last step really is consulting. So this is where I put on my consulting hat and I say, okay, right, so your business is at this stage, you want to get to this stage. What does that look like? What are the skills gaps that needs to be filled? What are the ways that I can constructively help you and make recommendations to take your business to the next level? And there we go. That's the steps.
I love those. Amazing. One of the things that, ring true to me is the moment I change my mindset. By the way, it's not an easy thing to do that without without a coach, without somebody supporting you along the way. Because, well, I'll speak for myself. You cannot see the picture if you're in the frame, but if you're outside, you'll be able to see exactly what's happening. And when you engage a coach or somebody outside who's been trained to see how you're operating on a daily basis, it's nearly impossible. Anything is possible, really, but it's nearly impossible if you don't have anybody saying, "Hey, why are you doing this? Where is this coming from?" Especially as someone who's trained to do that. So if you are thinking about changing your mindset, because you will need to change your mindset to get different results. Somebody once said, if you keep doing what you're doing, keep believing what you're believing, you're going to get the same results over and over and over again. But if you want to change your experience, change your belief, change what you're thinking about and how you're thinking about that, you will change the result that you get. If you want the fastest way of doing that, engage people like Sarah, myself, or even some coaches. We did some amazing coaches that have come on the show recently, and get the help that you need. So for those who wants to carry on learning from you, perhaps get your coaching program, how can they contact you?
So there are numerous ways that you can contact me. You can go to my website, check me out, send me a message through my website. And with any of my one-to-one coaching programs, we always have a consultation call so I can understand what your key objectives are, and I can go through with you what a tailored framework would look like for you, and we can see if there's a good fit. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn. So I'm very active on there, a lot of content on there. I also write for Entrepreneur Magazine and the Fast Company as well. If you're interested in reading, I've done quite a few pieces on mindset and productivity and entrepreneurship in general. So feel free to check out any of that information and to drop me a line if you're interested in knowing more.
Awesome. We will also have links to Sarah's website at the bottom of this audio recording for sure. Sarah, as we wrap up our time here together, is there anything that, knowing what you know about entrepreneurship and scaling, that you wish somebody had told you right at the beginning that you would want to leave our audience with today?
Yes. So 2 things, actually, Yeukai. And one of them is to validate one of the last points that you made, having that objective outside view. And, whether that's me or whether that's someone else, you should always pick a coach that resonates with you. That is really important to challenge you in ways that you might not otherwise be challenged. So, for example, one of my former clients who has a financial services business, which is growing very rapidly, he came from a transformation consulting background. So he used to go into big corporates and say, right, you need to do X, Y, and Z. But when it came to doing it for himself in his business, he was like, I'm really falling short here. I need someone on the outside to help me. And then the second point, or the second thing that I wish I'd known is, do not ignore the mindset work or the vision work. It may seem like it's not important, but that's short-term thinking. And the question is, do you want to be around as a business in the years to come? Do you want to be consistently growing, or do you want to stay where you are? Because I think it's Tony Robbins that said, you're either growing or you're going backwards, or you're either moving forward or you're going backwards, something like that. And it's true, unless you're progressing, you're not going anywhere. So for any entrepreneur and leader, absolutely having that constant growth and learning mindset is really important.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much, Sarah, for being here and being generous with your knowledge. We certainly would love to have you back in one of our episodes to explore your new venture, which you are launching very soon, where you're hoping to helping start up entrepreneurs maybe you have something to share with them.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me, Yeukai. It was really fun chatting to you.
You have been wonderful. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to know how to scale your business from where it is to where you want to be, you know who to go to. Reach out to Sara Sabin, or just send us an email. We'll put you in touch with some amazing coaches that can help you with that. And remember, I am on Clubhouse at least 3 times a week, helping people start their podcast. It's one of my latest ventures that I'm enjoying doing this. If you want to know how to start a podcast, how to scale, and how to monetize your podcast, reach out, come and check it out. I give a lot of valuable information for free, absolutely free, on Clubhouse, because I am at that stage where I am establishing myself as a podcaster, as a tutor, as a mentor in that area. So come and get this stuff for free, because not too long from now we will begin to put a price tag on it, because we have created a training program that we'll be selling at that time. So I want you to be part of that, ladies and gentlemen. And again, if you want to learn how to scale your business, go to Sara and you'll be helped. Until next time, remember to live well, live with passion, know that the best is yet to come. Sara, once again, thank you for being here. Until next time, goodbye for now.
Thank you for listening to Yeukai Business Show. We will be back to bring you more episodes with success stories and advice straight from the experts. Want more? Check out www.yukaibusinessshow.com. Get your free trial of our virtual assistant service today. Just visit www.worldoutsourcingsolutions.com. Quote WOS18, or send us an email at support@worldoutsourcingsolutions.com.